Hello everyone, welcome to another webinar for developers focusing on Bitrix24 REST API. Today I'm excited to share lots of details about embedding your applications into the Bitrix24 user interface, something we commonly refer to as widgets. Now I want to mention that the basics of this topic are already covered in our video course, and you can access it through the link provided on the slide. You will find the same link in the video description below. So there is no need to go over the fundamentals again in this webinar. If you're new to widget development, I highly recommend checking out the video course to get started on the right foot. In today's session, we'll be delving into more advanced aspects, helping you enhance your understanding and skills in widgets development. Let's dive in and have some fun exploring the exciting world of widgets. Today's webinar focuses on using widgets to create user-friendly applications and integrations. We'll cover embedding widgets in Bitrix24 and where to do it, examples of when to use specific widget locations, implementing UI with sliders in applications, and recommendations for effective interaction between applications and users in Bitrix24. Let me give you a quick reminder of how to add a widget via the REST API. It's a straightforward process. Use the placement bind method with the main parameters: placement, code for where your widget will be displayed, handler, address of the handler implementing the widget's user interface, title, description, lingo, parameters with names and descriptions of the widget shaping the interface. Refer to the video course examples for a better understanding. Additional parameters that apply only to some widgets, like group name, allows grouping widgets as menu items. Options specifies settings for the widget, currently used in custom CRM field types and widgets of the new messenger, which is in beta stage now. Icon, another parameter for widgets of the new messenger, details in a separate video, and user ID, the ID of the user for whom a particular handler will be available. This parameter is supported in one specific place for widgets embedding, which we won't delve into today, but you can find the information in the documentation. That's about it. By calling the method, you inform Bitrix24 where you want to display your widgets. The great thing is that we don't limit you in the number of handlers you can use. I'll touch upon these crucial points later. When a user opens your widget in Bitrix24, the platform sends a POST request to a handler with the REST authorization data, along with additional information stored in the placement options variable. This data includes various details based on the context of the widget placement. For instance, if the widget is embedded in a deal card, the POST array may include the ID of the current deal. This allows your handler to access specific deal-related information and tailor the widget's behavior accordingly. So let's go through the widget's embedded locations, starting with CRM, which currently offers the most options for integration. Let's begin by exploring the widgets available in item lists and the Kanban view. The first widget is located in the toolbar button, and the second widget is in the drop-down menu of the grid item. For the widget in the toolbar button, Bitrix24 does not pass any additional parameters. In your handler, you can simply refer to the embedding location code to determine where exactly the user opened your widget. As for widget in the drop-down menu, it specifically refers to a particular lead selected by the user in the list. Therefore, the identifier of this lead is passed to the placement option variable. An essential point to note is that the application can add multiple handlers to the same embedding location. This gives you the flexibility to customize user experience and provide different features depending on the context of where the widgets are placed. Why is this important? Well, let's say you have an application called Quick Sales. In this app, you want to handle two unrelated scenarios: generating a financial report on lead flow and allowing users to book the equipment needed to complete a deal. The most obvious solution is to create a quick sales handler. When users click on it, a slider opens up, and inside the slider you can implement an interface that caters to both scenarios. However, doing this might lead to a bulky and cluttered user interface within your application. Bitrix24 offers a better option. You can register two handlers for the same widget location. One handler will be dedicated to the financial report, and the other one will handle resource booking. In Bitrix24, the user will immediately see the available application functionality. They can open the required feature with just one click, and you won't have to create complicated navigation within your application. One great advantage is that almost any widget location allows the application to embed multiple handlers. So when designing your apps, be sure to provide a seamless and user-friendly experience for your users. Well, we've discussed widgets in the list of leads, and it's important to know that similar embedding locations are available in other CRM objects as well, such as contacts, companies, invoices, unless you have enabled the invoices old version option, quotes, and of course, smart processes. It's essential to pay attention to how the widget embedded place code is generated here. Every smart process you create has its unique numeric identifier, which you can find out using the REST API by getting the list of smart processes of your current Bitrix24 account. To form the code of the widget embedding place, you simply combine the prefix CRM dynamic with the identifier of the specific smart process. It's nothing complicated at all. Adding custom functionality to detailed CRM pages is a common requirement, and Bitrix24 offers a wide range of possibilities to accomplish this. Let's explore the places for widget embedding using the example of a deal page. A common way to add widgets is by creating a new tab within the deal card. This tab can display customized information using the code CRM Deal Detail tab. Another popular option is to add a menu item or button above the deal timeline, using the code CRM Deal Detail Activity. This allows you to integrate widgets doing relevant activities and updates related to the deal. Widgets can also be embedded as menu items in the document button, using the code CRM Deal Document Generator button. This feature allows you to generate documents directly from the deal page. Lastly, you can embed widgets as menu items in the top toolbar button using the code CRM Deal Detail Toolbar. This embedding option has some unique features that we will discuss later. The widget locations we have mentioned work the same way across all CRM detail pages in Bitrix24. The 4 codes for the widgets you see can be adapted for other CRM object types. By replacing XXX in the location code with specific CRM object type, such as lead, contact, or even dynamic YYY for smart processes, you can seamlessly integrate your widgets into the desired UI locations. The CRM XXX detail tab embed location is perfect for scenarios that involve displaying additional information on the standard detail CRM page. Bitrix24 offers various possibilities in a deal page, such as a list of invoices, quotes, products, and other multiple objects related to the current deal. This user pattern is well suited for using a detailed CRM page. Using the widget location, your application can create additional tabs with various types of information. You can have a tab displaying a list of documents obtained from an external ERP system related to the deal. Another tab could show a list of tasks or projects linked to the deal, helping users track progress and stay organized. If the deal involves a property, a dedicated tab can showcase a set of photos and so on. In all of these scenarios, the focus is on providing additional and important information about the deal that the user can access without leaving the deal page. This ensures that users have the necessary information at their fingertips, allowing them to make informed decisions and take appropriate actions without any hassle. The CRM XXX Detail Activity Embed location is specifically designed for scenarios where users can perform actions related to the current CRM object directly from the interface. Bitrix24 itself offers users actions like sending an email, creating a task, or scheduling an appointment from this location. Likewise, in your application, you can leverage this embed location to enable users to perform various actions that are relevant to the CRM object. For example, users can initiate the creation of a document in an external system directly from this location. A button can be provided to generate an invoice for a deal in the accounting system. Users can compose and send messages to customers using an external messenger. If a deal involves delivery, users can schedule it right from this point. The key expectation of users in this interface location is that they can take actions directly related to a CRM object, and the results of these actions should be visible in the deal timeline. This ensures a clear and organized record of all relevant activities related to the deal. The CRM XXX document generated button embed location is indeed intended for functionality related to generating or retrieving documents. The name of the button itself, document, helps users easily understand what actions they can take next, making it more intuitive and user-friendly. In this location, you can embed functionality that revolves around document generation, and it can take various forms such as utilize the built-in document generator within Bitrix24 to allow users to create and generate documents directly related to a CRM object. If your application integrates with external document management systems, users can access and manage documents seamlessly from this button. Users can retrieve important financial documents and reports from connected accounting or ERP systems. The CRM XXX Detail Toolbar embed location in Bitrix24 is perfect for offering additional powerful tools that might not be directly related to the current CRM object, but are valuable for the CRM as a whole. For instance, Bitrix24 knowledge bases are often accessible from this location. Likewise, in your application, you can place additional functionality that provides global CRM tools at this embed point. This offers users a convenient way to access various scenarios without leaving the current CRM object, enhancing their overall workflow. Given that there can be multiple scenarios like this, the CRM XXX Detail Toolbar embed location supports a convenient mechanism for grouping drop-down menu items. This ensures a tidy and organized presentation of various tools and features, making it easy for users to find what they need quickly. Sure, let's check out the example I provided with the placement bind method and the additional group name parameter for 4 handlers on the same placeholder. This will create 2 subsections in the drop-down menu, each with 2 items. It's the same approach I mentioned earlier. Instead of creating a single widget to call all the scenarios in your application, you can display individual scenarios as separate widgets. Additionally, at this widget embedding point, you can also group related scenarios together. What other embedding locations does CRM provide us with? The button in Contact Center is a useful widget place to offer users settings of your app, especially if it involves communications. Customers who have installed the app will naturally look for this interface, as this is where they can access settings for the built-in communication tools such as telephony, SMS, and open channels. By placing the widget here, you make it convenient for users to manage their communication preferences. CRM Analytics in Bitrix24 is an excellent location for incorporating custom or external reports. You can create individual reports or dashboards that users can access through a separate left menu item, similar to how standard analytics are organized. BI Analytics is another good location for embedding your application, especially if it falls into the category of business intelligence solutions. Embedding functionality on the sales pipeline page provides a convenient and relevant location for certain application settings, particularly if your app involves specific scenarios related to changes in deal stage. For instance, applications that integrate with external e-commerce platforms might require synchronization of order statuses from the online store with CRM deal stages in a specific way. Embedding similar scenarios on the page with the pipelines of a smart process is another excellent option. In Bitrix24, CRM is not the only place where you can add widgets. You also have the option to embed your interface into a calendar. Indeed, you can add the alternative calendar view according to your needs, making it highly versatile. There are several convenient ways to use this feature. You can utilize the calendar as a tool for keeping track of appointments with clients. The calendar can be used to merge an employee's appointment schedule with your task list, ensuring better time management and coordination. It can be a helpful tool for efficiently managing meetings, considering multiple projects and avoiding scheduling conflicts. Your own calendar view can be adapted to various industries such as healthcare, education, or event planning, where interaction with the calendar is crucial for organizing schedules and events. Bitrix24 allows you to embed your own widgets into tasks and projects, which expands the standard functionality of the platform. Like the CRM, you have the option to add your own items to the button drop-down menu above the task list. Here are some use cases to build into this area. Creating applications that generate comprehensive reports on tasks, providing valuable insights and analytics for better decision-making. Development solutions that seamlessly integrate Bitrix24 tasks with external systems, streamlining data exchange and collaboration. Implementing scenarios that allow the efficient manipulation of multiple tasks, such as bulk assignment or status updates. Furthermore, you can embed additional functionality in the context menu of a specific task and to the more button items in the task menu. Some examples include enabling automatic generation of documents related to specific task activities, improving documentation and record keeping, incorporating features that facilitate payroll calculations based on task-related data, implementing functions that automatically reassign task participants based on predefined conditions, ensuring smooth task delegation. On the task page, the primary area for embedding additional functionality is through additional tabs. Considering the existing functionality in Bitrix24, here are some scenarios that would work well in these additional tabs. You can create a tab to display payment details related to the task, implement a tab that showcases a list of documents from an external system associated with the task. For tasks related to production or resource management, a tab displaying the resource log would be beneficial. Moving on, the lower part of the right column provides another suitable place for embedding specific informers and custom buttons. And lastly, in the upper part of the task page, placing a link to open a slider with your application's interface is an excellent idea. Some potential applications for this slider include linking to a sophisticated project scheduling tool that provides an overview of the task place in the larger project timeline, a dedicated communication tool for interacting with external contractors involved in the tasks, and so on. You can easily enhance the functionality of projects and workgroups by adding your own scenarios as top menu items. Some great additions could be tools to plan or manage projects using different methodologies not currently available in Bitrix24. For example, you could incorporate the critical path method, critical chain project management, Prince2, and other methodologies. Additionally, you can include a visual representation of task lists, providing users with these valuable features right within their daily workflow in Bitrix24. Customization of these tools and integration with external task systems or payroll tools can be provided to users in a more convenient location. Since this functionality is only needed occasionally, it should be easily accessible without cluttering the user interface constantly. This way, users can access these features without leaving their day-to-day workplace in Bitrix24. Let's not forget about the functionality related to the company's employees. Various HR tools, internal bonus programs, salary data, etc. can be conveniently represented by widgets. Every employee will have access to the customized functionality they needed here. There are scenarios where employees access their colleagues' profiles in Bitrix24. These scenarios can include feedback tools, mutual evaluation of work quality, and other HR-related activities. By embedding these scenarios as widgets in the employee profile, they become easily accessible without the need to implement a search through the list of employees in your application. For example, if John wants to leave feedback on Jack's work, he can find Jack through a search in Bitrix24 or do it directly from a task, chat, workgroup, etc. Once he opens Jack's standard profile, he will find the required tool right there. This approach reduces the amount of programming for you and makes it more convenient for employees to use the product. There are some widgets related to automation tools. First of all, it involves embedding menu items in automation rules for leads, the same kind of embedding in automation rules in deals, and finally a place for a widget in task automation. These widgets may come in handy for displaying the settings of your applications, especially if these applications add their automation rules into Bitrix24. Additionally, this is where applications for alternative automation on REST API events, various login tools related to automation, and more can also find a place. Bitrix24 also offers a number of additional embedding places. For example, there is a dedicated page where various telephony reports are displayed. Telephony is a highly sought-after tool, and users often wish to analyze their sales, cost, and efficiency in telephony operations. If you provide such analytics to your customers, this is the perfect spot to embed your reports. Regarding the Bitrix24 main menu, our general belief is that it's best to embed it in the left menu only if your application is a large standalone tool that will be frequently used. This is especially true when the scenarios you propose cannot be implemented as embeds in other widgets. For instance, it could be a financial accounting tool for a company, a set of HR tools, or an employee training system. There are numerous possibilities, but it's essential to consider first where we can offer our functionality within the context of the special Bitrix24 tools. This could be the CRM detail page, employee profile, and so on. Only if you find out that embedding in these places is not suitable for your scenarios, you should consider using the left menu of Bitrix24. However, be cautious not to overload the left menu with unnecessary items, since it's already quite extensive in Bitrix24. Now that we've learned a lot about the customization possibilities in Bitrix24, let's discuss what to do with scenarios inside applications. Many developers face a couple of typical problems in this area. In particular, how to properly organize navigation inside the interface if the proposed functionality doesn't fit into a single-page application. When it comes to the front-end presentation of different interfaces based on user actions like click on buttons or list items, it can get tricky. Let's take an example of a document list where we want to show detailed information when a user clicks on a document. To achieve this, we load the document details from the backend and dynamically generate the front end. However, since applications work in iframes in Bitrix24, using cookies in iframes is not allowed by browsers. So we need to find another way to transfer the application context to the backend. The solution here is usually to pass tricky parameters in all AJAX requests or HTML reference tags. But there are some challenges with these approaches. Firstly, it's time-consuming to remember to include these parameters in multiple places in the front end. Secondly, security is a concern. If we form these parameters on the front end, attackers can see them and make fake requests to the backend. These issues can be quite complex, and not all developers might be skilled enough to handle them correctly. Perhaps you have not considered this aspect before, but it's important to address it now. Development in such a way can be difficult and labor-intensive. It would be better to explore other solutions, and fortunately, there is a better way, which I'll explain later. Dealing with pop-up windows within iframes can present another common challenge. For instance, if you might want to display a large pop-up window for application settings, which could have numerous options. Alternatively, as we mentioned earlier, you may wish to show an entire document in a pop-up when the user clicks on a document in the list. Firstly, the pop-up size is limited to the size of the iframe, which can cause inconvenience for users. If the content inside the pop-up is larger than the available space, users will have to use scroll bars to view the complete information. Additionally, when the pop-up has scroll bars, it can affect the overall user interface, making it look unattractive and less user-friendly. Secondly, positioning pop-up windows inside a frame can be tricky, and many JavaScript libraries may not handle this scenario well. Determining the correct position for the pop-up within the iframe is challenging, because the iframe's dimensions might not match the content's dimensions inside it. As a result, pop-ups might end up appearing partly or entirely outside the user's field of view, causing confusion and frustration. Consequently, developers often have to invest a significant amount of time and effort to find appropriate workarounds. To address the challenges with pop-ups within iframes, you can utilize the Open Application method of our JavaScript library. This method allows you to open a slider on top of the current interface outside of the iframe, which can offer a more seamless user experience. The Open Application method has several useful features. You can specify the width of the slider within a fixed value or an offset from the left border of the browser. You can set various parameters to customize the slider's design, ensuring it aligns with your application's look and feel. You can define a JavaScript function as a callback to handle the closing of the slider by the user. This ensures that you can manage any necessary actions or updates when the slider is closed. The most crucial advantage is the ability to pass a set of parameters to the slider. These parameters help your application understand the specific business logic it should implement when opened in the slider. This way, you can seamlessly transfer the application context without relying on tricky workarounds. Slider design options will let you do everything that Bitrix24 does with sliders. If you don't need much space for the interface, you can make the slider narrow. You can also pick up your own color scheme for the application sliders. Adding slider labels will help users better understand what they've seen. Let's check out the example. The example code is based on our simple C-REST SDK, which you might have seen in the video course lessons. I won't go over the SDK features again here, you can always check the corresponding lessons. So first, let's see how the scenario looks from the user's perspective. We navigate to the CRM section, access the list of deals, and open the deal page. As you can see, the application has already registered a widget as a tab with a list of documents from an external system. By clicking on a document, we open a slider that displays debugging data and then the content of the document. Once we close the slider, we can open another document. As you can see in the debugging data, the parameters for opening the slider are different each time. This is how we determine what to show to the user. Now let's take a closer look at the example code. First, we'll focus on the document.php file, which handles the widget. It's straightforward. It displays a table with a list of documents and a handler for when a row in the table is clicked. Upon clicking, we retrieve a document ID from the table and call the openApplication method. This method allows us to pass a set of custom values alongside the standard parameters necessary to implement the logic of a specific application. In this example, we pass two parameters, the document identifier and the action parameter. The second parameter becomes useful on the backend to distinguish between the main page content of the application and document view page in the slider. It's important to note that we don't pass anything else here. We don't try to devise our own mechanism for forming the execution context or pass REST authorization tokens to the backend. All of this happens automatically because the slider's opening is initiated by Bitrix24 itself, and it will handle passing all the necessary information in the post request to the application. Let's examine the contents of index.php. Right at the beginning, we check if the action parameter is present. If it is, we include the document page.php file. However, if no such parameter is received in the post request, it means we'll display the main interface of the application from the file main page.php. In the document page.php file, we retrieve the document ID and create the slider interface. In this example, I've simply loaded the document content from the files I've prepared beforehand. But in real-life scenarios, it could be a document obtained from an external source. You have already seen the outcome of the code. The openApplication method offers a solution to many problems. It's a safe and efficient way of passing context to a multi-page application, eliminating the need to create your own mechanism. Unlike pop-up in iframes, slider is not restricted by the size of the application it's called from. This flexibility enables you to provide users with a familiar and user-friendly interface, similar to standard Bitrix24 tools. Additionally, you can use sliders nested within other sliders without limitations. After getting familiar with the application sliders, developers often wonder how to call a standard slider with a CRM page, for instance. And for this purpose, there is an openPath method where the main parameter is the path to a specific Bitrix24 page. If you need to open any page of the standard functionality in the slider, you can find the address of the page and use it as a parameter for the openPath method. This is how specifically you can open a deal, and this is how you can open a task. Now that we have a grasp of the fundamental embedding tools, let's discuss the proper user interaction scenario for widgets, especially when it involves embedding in the CRM page interface. Let's start by looking at a simple example of scenario where an application generates a specific document in an external system alongside a deal in Bitrix24. First, we open the deal. In my example, the application has already added a document widget. By the way, it's better to name the menu item with an understandable object or action, rather than using the common name of the application. So when we click on the item, the application slider opens, where in our scenario an external document is generated. In reality, this interface might require the user to perform certain actions for the generation, but for the sake of code simplification, I haven't included them in my example. We display to the user that a document has been successfully generated. This aspect is crucial. As the user has taken an action, the application interface should inform them about the operation's success or failure. If any issues arise, the interface should suggest possible further actions. Since everything went well in our scenario and no further steps are needed, we close the slider As a result, we can see that the effect of document generation is now reflected in the timeline history. Let's examine the implementation. In our example, it's quite straightforward. The application has registered a widget and its handler is located in the file new_document.php. Within this handler, we retrieve the deal ID from the placement options parameter and then use the CRM timeline log message add method to add an information record to the deal timeline. The method parameters are described in the documentation. In a perfect scenario, besides a simple informational record that indicates the creation of external object, it's highly beneficial to offer the user the object itself as an activity. This way, the user won't have to search for the object in an external system when needed. They can directly access and modify it with just one click from CRM. Additionally, user can stay informed about any changes to the object in the external system without leaving Bitrix24. To achieve this, the Bitrix24 REST API provides a special mechanism of configurable activities, allowing application developers to create their own timeline activity representation using pre-made interface items. This toolkit is incredibly flexible and extensive, so we'll cover it in a separate webinar. Meanwhile, you can explore the documentation on your own using the link provided. The most important thing to keep in mind when designing application scenarios for Bitrix24 is to look for standard Bitrix24 features that share a similar user behavior to yours and embed your widgets in those same places. We've already discussed some examples. If you want to provide information on a deal, it's best to embed your widget in deal tabs. For actions related to deal, place the widget in areas associated with actions, such as timeline menus or button drop-down menus. Whenever a user performs any actions within your interface, make sure to display the results promptly. Update item list immediately, so users can see new or changed items. Provide messages that inform users about the outcome of their actions. For related changes in the external system, attach the information to UCRM objects using the timeline feature. This allows users to easily track relevant updates. In general, take advantage of user-defined activity types in CRM. They offer a powerful element for embedding, familiar to users and with highly flexible interaction possibilities with the application. Use the backend to front-end interactivity mechanism in your widgets. You can find a link to a lesson from a video course dedicated to this topic on the slide. You might have noticed how Bitrix24 Kanban view of the list of deals updates itself in real time when other users or automation add or modify deals. The user doesn't need to refresh the page to see these changes. You should implement a similar mechanism in your applications, and our REST API makes it very easy to do so. Well, today we've delved into Bitrix24 widgets in quite a lot of detail. I've covered the most common scenarios for specific embed locations. You've also learned how to utilize the Open Application method in your application to streamline development and create a more user-friendly experience. And lastly, we touched upon the importance of proper application interaction with the user. There are more exciting topics ahead, so stay tuned and join the Bitrix24 REST API Developer Telegram channel, where you can connect with other developers and me.